grade 9, this is Mrs. Jones, and here is my video announcement going over everything that we're doing this week. This is going to be a very weird week because we only meet 2 of the 5 days this week, and unfortunately on Thursday I will not be present during our Zoom call because there is a doctor's appointment I need to go to. I couldn't schedule it at a better time. So I'll just be taking that day off, and I'll be expecting you to work asynchronously for the entire day. That means you're on your own, kids. And so luckily for you, there's nothing really new this week. We're just practicing the skills that we've been building up until this point. We're focusing on annotating and participating in discussion. And I want to encourage you guys to participate more fully in this week's discussion. It's been a trend in the past that oftentimes you guys will reply only once, but you'll forget to reply to your classmates' work. And I just encourage you guys to be authentic with how you reply to your classmates. We don't really have an opportunity to have discussions in our class, so make the most of these forums. And please just do your best. So this week, if you go to your modules, okay, you'll notice that there is a brand new attendance survey. There's going to be an attendance survey for both Tuesday and Thursday, so it's very important that you fill out the attendance surveys for both days. Even though we're not meeting on Thursday, I still want you to fill that out. Okay, we'll scroll down. Now guys, I do expect you guys to be maintaining your special interest blogs. I expect you guys to keep making those look as pretty as possible. Right now you're focusing on web design, you're focusing on making your blogs nice and pretty, and you should have your first post written. Okay, by this coming Monday, I would like to see at least 2 posts on your blogs. If you're keeping up at a good pace, if you're doing what's expected of you, you should have 2 posts in the bag already. Okay, now if you scroll down to our first module, you'll notice that a few more pages have opened up. Now, because I'm recording this video before I have published those pages, it looks a little different, so you should be seeing more pages than this right now. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the student view and take you to my teacher page, and you'll see that the rest of our activities are down here at the beginning of the second module. So for module 2, you'll start with the introduction, and the introduction just shows you what our learning goals will be for this next lesson. Okay, you will learn how to identify and label the sequence of events in a story. So you'll be able to tell me what happens in a story chronologically from the very beginning to the very end. You are also going to learn how to select evidence that is relevant and clearly connects with a claim. And so you guys are going to practice your argumentative skills with me. You are going to be able to identify claims and identify the evidence that's supporting them. And then you guys will also learn how to take a quote and paraphrase it and put it in your own words. And so that's something that I've touched on before, and it's definitely something that I'm going to go over again in a little more depth. Okay. So you'll click the next page after familiarizing with Common Core State Standards, the ELD standards, all those stuff. Up next, you'll get the essential question for our lessons. How do people react when faced with conflict and crisis? And guys, this is 2020. There is definitely some conflict out there, and there is definitely some crisis. And so, if we read short stories, if we read novels, even if we read nonfiction text, by familiarizing with the way that others handle problems, we'll be better prepared as human beings. We'll have more tools in our tool belt for when our own conflicts and crises arise. Okay, and so you'll start off this week by watching the short video, and in this video we see the youth of India really standing up for climate change, really challenging the older generations to start changing the way that they do business, and for promoting a better, cleaner, healthier future for our planet. So watch that. And if the first activity that you will do is another annotation. And so the purpose for reading this article, you're going to explain to me what the author does in order or how is he trying to persuade his readers? What is he trying to get them to consider? What does the author want readers to do or consider or change? And so, yeah, this is definitely going to be an article that's more of a call to action than before. If you're not quite sure what I'm expecting when I ask you to annotate, remember to tag the article. Okay, and let me make this big so you can see it better. Okay, so remember, when we're annotating, you're tagging the article. So you're telling me what the title is, who the author is, and what the genre is. Okay, you are using the comment feature to type in questions or realizations that you make as you're reading. Okay, if you have any of those big aha moments, it's a good idea to leave a comment attached to that aha moment so you can come back to it later. And then lastly, you're going to highlight main ideas and comment about them. And so I expect you guys to use the comment feature for two things here. I expect you to make comments for questions and comments for, well, comments. So make sure you do that. And if you're not quite sure how to use Google Docs, how to annotate using Google Docs, just watch this video. I've shown this to you before in the past. Another teacher at the district goes through it step by step, and she'll be able to help you out. Okay, also don't forget that you need to write the purpose question at the top of the page. Remember, your purpose question is up here. Okay, what does the author want readers to do or consider? And you will also answer that purpose question at the bottom of the text. There's going to be a box I'll show you here in just a moment where you need to answer that. All right. And here's the document. So I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of it. And so remember, for our purpose for reading, we can find that on the page that we were just at, and we can just copy and paste that sucker and put it right in that box. You don't need to reinvent the wheel here. You don't need to type it all out. You can just copy and paste it. So as we're reading, we're going to ask ourselves over and over, what does the author want readers to do or consider? And so we'll go ahead and read the first paragraph together. Actually, before we read the first paragraph, we need to tag the article. All right, and so this is our title. And you know what, I might want to change the color of my text here. It's big and red. Make sure it's in bold. Title. Okay, we'll do the same thing for the author. You can put A or just author. And then genre. And for genre, what you can do is you could just highlight something up here. You can either highlight the byline or you can highlight the title. I like highlighting the title. And just tell me what the genre is. And, you know, I haven't read it yet, and you guys might not be able to find out what the genre is until after you read it. But when the question is, what does the author want readers to do or to consider, I can assume that this is going to be a persuasive piece of writing. Okay, this is probably going to be some kind of, some kind of columnist is writing this. It's definitely going to be persuasive, and so I'm going to assume. You know what? Actually, I'll let you guys fill in the genre for yourself. Okay, you guys can read this on your own, and you can tell me what the genre is. And so, scrolling down, you know, we see a picture of activists with their signs up. We can see that there is an image caption underneath it. And so, climate activist Isabel Alexson, bottom third left, okay, I'm assuming that's her, takes part in the demonstration on the closing day of the World Economics Forum in Davos, Switzerland on January 24th, 2020. And then they also credit the photographer here. And remember, that's really important. If you're using a photo that you didn't take, you always want to credit the photographer and sometimes the publishing service that publishes it. So many people expect climate activists like myself to have hope. Okay, you know what? Right off the bat, I'm going to leave a comment right here because this sentence tells me something very important. This sentence tells me that the speaker is an activist because they say activists like myself, right? And so as I continue reading this, I know a little bit more about who's writing this. And I also know a little bit more about who's writing this because they did give a brief description on the author up here at the top. Axelsson is a first-year student at Stockholm University and an organizer of the Fridays for Future climate movement. And so it sounds like this person's a climate activist. And so what I'll do is I'll highlight that. And you know what? Maybe I can make a question out of it. Is the author a climate change activist? And you know what, maybe I'll put a question mark at the top of that too, so I know this is a question. Now guys, I'm looking for at least 5 comments. They can be a mixture of questions or just comments made during the reading, but I'm expecting at least 5 for every assignment that I give you. Okay, so that was my phone, sorry about that. So seeing thousands, even millions of young people in the streets all over the world and knowing that you are not alone in wanting to secure a safe future without suffering must give us hope, right? For some it does. However, many of us are struggling or even at peace with not having hope for the future. Instead, our activism is rooted in a sense of justice, perhaps anger, and definitely the need to do something in our power to ensure that future generations don't need to take on the same fight we are. And so this to me kind of sounds like something that's called a call to action. And so a call to action is when, you know, you're reading a persuasive piece of writing and the author is trying to get you to change your mind by telling you to do something. And so that kind of sounded like, you know, they're urging me as the reader that I can be doing more to fight climate change. And you can hear my dog in the background. He agrees. So I'm not going to annotate this whole article for you. I just wanted to help you out. You know, usually in a classroom setting, yeah, I would also like make you guys circle confusing words, but because we are using the internet, I mean, if you ever stumble upon a word that you're not familiar with, like, so say maybe you don't know what demonstration means, what's great about Google is that I could just right click the word that I'm confused about and I can define it. And so usually in a classroom setting, if there were any confusing words, I would have you circle, but I mean, with the internet, with, you know, as amazing as it is, you don't really need to. You just need to right click and find the definition. And by the way, demonstration means the action or process of showing the existence or truth of something by giving proof or evidence. And so that can apply to a lot of different things. Okay, when you're done with that activity, you'll turn it in on this page. Now if we go to our next assignment, and this will be it for you guys this week, you guys have to participate in the discussion. And so the prompt for our discussion is, what does the author want people to do or consider? Do you agree or disagree with what they want people to do? And explain, okay? Teachers just don't like putting the word explain at the end of prompts here. We do it for a very specific reason, okay? One sentence answers aren't going to cut it here, okay? You have to consider what the author in that piece of writing that we just looked at, you know, what do they want you to do differently? How do they want you to change? And you need to explain that to me as if I didn't read the article and tell me whether or not you agree or disagree with their position. Okay, should we be doing more to help the environment, or are we doing enough? Should we trust, you know, officials or you know, people in higher positions of power with that responsibility? And so yeah, make sure that you read the article. And very, very important, you won't get full credit unless you respond to at least 2 of your classmates' posts. And you know, you want to provide real, authentic replies to their replies, okay? It's a skill that we all should have. And so, you know, if you see someone, you know, agree and you disagree with them, you know, be honest and open and respectful about it. You know, make sure that you follow, you know, use appropriate language, be kind, don't hurt anyone's feelings, do your best. And so that's really all we have for this week. I ask that you continue working on your blogs. Continue publishing your special interest blogs. Make sure that you keep up with the attendance quizzes. And, you know, if you have any questions concerning the article or the discussion, let me know. Also, since we don't have a lot to do this week as far as work goes, I mean, most of our work is really going to be applied to the blogs, and some of us might be a little further ahead than others in this class with those. But I mean, if you do find yourself finished with the work this week rather quickly, you know, it would be a great opportunity for you guys to go back into the course and look for assignments that you didn't turn in already. And remember, if you go to the modules page, I'll show you real quick. Okay, if you go to modules and you go to the welcome to class module and you go click late work policy, okay, this will take you to the instructions I have for submitting late work. So make sure that you watch this video and make sure that you complete the late work form. if you wish for me to grade any late work. Okay, don't expect me to grade anything late unless you have reached out to me, through the inbox with a copy of this completed late work form. All right, so that's about it. We get to meet once before Thursday, so if you guys have any questions about any of the work or anything, reach out to me during our Zoom meeting or reach out to me through an instant message. Thanks for watching and have a good week.